Welcome to Yeshiva Daf Shir sponsor Louis Nishmas Arbiak Shalom Lavas Yitzchok. We're holding Basra Daf Chofei. This is a repetition of the Shir that was given on Shabbos. Zog the Mishnah. Marchikin asa nevelos v'sa kvaros v'sa bursakim neir. So you take away nevelos, dead animals, carcass, and kvaros, graves, and bursaki, where they tan leather, from the city, 50 am away from the city. Ain't no seen bursaki el mizrach here. A bursaki, the place where they tan leathers, which has bad smell, you can do it only to the east side of the city. You can do it in every side of the city, except for the west. And you distant it 50 am. We'll see in the Gemara, what is the distant 50 am referring to? To the west or to the other ruchos. All this was mentioned. We learned it earlier. So Mishra Yerik is where you put the flax, the flax water you take away from the vegetables. Kashinim is a type of vegetable from petzolim, from onions. And the chardol, the mustard from the bees, because it makes the bees, the mouth of the bees gets hot, gets sour, and they go and eat their honey. As we'll see in the Gemara, as mentioned before, he says they both are mazik each other, the bees to the chardol and the chardol to the bees. It says the Gemara, Yibaylu. Rabbi Akiva Echikam, what Akiva say? Do I say they can do every angle, every side of the city? You could put a bursaki, except for the west, we need to have a 50 amma distance. Or he's saying every distance, every side of the city, you have a distance of 50 amma, except for the west, you don't have it at all. Because the Mishnah is very unclear. The Mishnah just says you don't do it anywhere except the west and distance 50 amma. Is the 50 amma referring to where you could put it or you cannot put it? You do any distance except for every distance, every side of the city, you do it with a distance of 50 amma. Except for the west, you don't do it at all because it's tadir. What's tadir mean? You want to tell me there's a lot of wind in the west. Most winds come in the west. So is that true? There's 4 winds every day from each corner of the world. The northern wind is with each one. If not, without the northern wind, the world will be destroyed. The southern wind is the worst. This malach called Beinitz, if he would stop the wind, it will destroy the world. So the net says the straw from the bean of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to stop, he has his wings towards the south to stop the wind. So it's a God to understand. What we're coming out from this is that the northern wind is the one which is more tadir, not the west. Elamai tadir is more tadir b'shchino. The shchino is in the west. Let's think our fathers. They taught us where to daven. So what does it mean tzvah shalayim? The tzvah shalayim, where they come from, they're going from east to west. So to come from east, they're bowing down towards the west. And it means the Shekhinah is in the west. Maybe it means like something like a slave, servant, gets a gift from his master and walks backwards. So they start from the east, getting a gift from Hashem in the east, and walking to the west. Who said they were facing the west? So kasha. What is kasha? Now, here, the big over here, let's start with the Pharisees. The Pharisees asked the question. You want to tell me that what? That the west is where the Shekhinah is, and therefore I can't put a leather tanning in the west. Where else do I have 2 cities? One city is in the east of the other one. So the left city, the city to the west, will put his tanning system not on the west, but on the east, which is the west of the other city. So will you tell me that'll be a problem? In other words, what the Tiferes is pointing out is whatever is west for me is east for somebody else. Whatever is east for me is west for somebody else. How can you tell me west and east? And here come the Maharal and the Marshal and the Maharal. The world is round. The Maharal goes on to explain, we'll speak about it a lot in the Shor Machshava. The Chazal knew exactly that the world is round. And if the world is round, what do you mean west and east? You go to the west, you just go around to the world. So say the Marshal and Maharal, the idea of the Shechina and B'mayrov is not a physical thing. It's a conceptual idea. The Shechina conceptually belongs to the Mayrov. It's a ruach of Mayrov. So look at the Tiferes Yisrael. That's the pshat. The Tiferes Yisrael tells us the pshat in Shechina b'Mayrov is that the Shechina is the place of Mayrov belongs to the Shechina. Apin Yanim, what Mayrov means, not the physically is in Mayrov. So therefore, the city needs to respect it, and that side is a side that belongs to Shechina, even though it's not physically there. So it doesn't matter if you have two cities one next to each other. For one it's west, for one it's east. Because I don't care that it's coming really to the west side of the city. It's the idea that you don't want that. For me, when I'm putting my borsaki, I need to treat with respect the west. So the more Shai saw Shri b'chol moker. Shai old Shri is everywhere. Tomorrow Shai by the Ktiva Torah Shema v'decho to Yisna Shemaim. Shluchecha loike shluchi bosov adam. Right? The shluchim of bosov adam, shluchim HaKadosh Baruch Hu different. In one way. Shluchim bosov adam mimokom shemishtalkim l'shom machzirim shlichuso. Wherever they go, they have to come back. The husband, somebody sends a shliach, has to go back to it, tell him, I did your shlichus. Aber shluchecha l'mokom shemishtalkim l'shom machzirim shlichuso. Shliach HaKadosh Baruch Hu, wherever they go back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and say, I did your shlichus. How do they go back there? Because Shechina b'chol mokem. Shneimar tishlach b'rokim v'yelechu. V'yirun l'cha yimneinu. We send lightning, and they tell you we came. Yavo v'yirun lo yimneinu. Don't come back to you and say we came. Ela v'yelechu v'yirun. Now it's Shechina b'chol mokem. The Shechina is everywhere because the Shechina is standing in wherever the shliach is going. That's where you're going to find the Shechina. Bishmuel agrees. Bishmuel minayin sheshchina b'chol mokom. I know shechina is everywhere. Shema inyan malach hadoiver bi yoytze. Malach acher yoytze likoso. So the Zechariah says that malach came to eat. They tell me that will be Yerushalayim will be built with midah. Then there's another malach saying no, it's not midah. It will be process Yeshiva Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim will have no boundaries. So the first malach came, and right after came another malach. So not that the other malach came after the first malach. Heavily crossed from the other direction. Shechina is everywhere. She told his shamash. The kol ruchusa ukon. Put me to daven in every direction. The daven means except to the east. The let me shoot the legs. How does Shechina is not in the east? Let me shoot the moyu meaning because the meaning saying that you daven to the east because the sun is in the east. So that's don't put me to the east. Yeah, before my Shechina is in the west. My Uya, Avir Kol, Rashi explains that Uya refers, it's a name of one of the sides, either the east, that's right across from the west, it's the Eir across from the west, Avir Kol, or we're talking about the west itself. So here, Tais points out, we have if you look at the beginning of Tais, the Kol Ruchus Okwan, says Tais, Kol Ani Amoroi, he's Amoroi, Lace the Haditani, they disagree with Braiso, Brochus, Shechayab Odom Lidbal, Spal Keneged Yerushalayim. Today's learns we have another Shita. One Shita holds you can daven everywhere, one Shita holds west, third Shita holds towards Yerushalayim. That's what you daven to. So it's three Shitas. We pass Kiri daven to Yerushalayim. Some on the Shem learn that not that we pass that the Shechina is in Yerushalayim, that we daven to Yerushalayim. Shechina is everywhere, but Yerushalayim is the right way to daven. So it comes out, this is a machlekes. How you do it? Where exactly does it go to? Just to mention that the Shechina, and the Tais, another Tais brings, that Shechina, why do we learn from Kodesh Kodashim? Kodesh Kodashim also Shechina was where to the Ma'ir of Kodesh Kodashim. How do we learn from there? So there's basically two answers. Answer one, he says, you have to put it somewhere in Beis HaMikdash. So it came to be the west. Doesn't mean it's everywhere to the west. The second answer to it says that the Oren in Kodesh Kodashim was tilting to the east. So therefore you don't bring a raya for Kodesh Kodashim. So it brings a pasuk in Hazinu that Moshe Rabbeinu is referring to the world and saying, that's the western wind. Goes to the back of the world. Why? Because Baruch Hu is in the west, so that side is Kiviyachol the back of where Baruch Hu is facing. The Shechina. Tiza Kedai Mosi is the Ruach Tzfeinis. Shemazel Zazov. When the Ruach Tzfeinis comes, the northern wind makes the gold cheap because it makes hunger in the world. Makes the Zov cheap. Keseir Alidesh is working with Rochas Shemas is called Oilo. Keseir. Very strong wind like a shade. The southern wind is what brings the clouds, brings the rain, and it lets the grass grow. So that's why it's called Revim. So each one, and this plus refer to each one of the ruchas. So Tanya Blazer Oimer. Oilom or Daf Chavhel base le'achstero doimer. It's like achstero. What's achstero? So Rashi says over here, it's a room that has three walls missing the fourth. So he says earlier, brother, right from here, that Achsatru always has three walls missing the fourth. Now like Rashi says, usually, which is missing, has no walls at all. So the whole world looks like three walls missing the fourth. The world Tzfeinis and the northern wind is not covered. When the sun comes to the west, the northwest corner, then it goes above the Rakia. So, meaning the sun goes to every direction of the world, except to the west, except to the north. What happens to the north? It leaves the world. That's the words of the Gemara. It's a closed room. It is covered. So then it goes Machripiyo. Meaning what? Meaning the Machlekes over here is we see, and maybe before we explain the words, let's say the next words bring from the pasuk. Shenema, Haydechil Darum, the Sefer Tzafim, goes on the south and surrounds the north. Haydechil Darum Bayom, Sefer Tzafim Balayla, surrounds it in the night. Sefer Ruach, and it goes a little bit in the Ruach, or it goes sometimes in the Ruach. It'll bring Mizuch, bring Marab, that's the east and the west. Shepaham Misavasom, Upami Malachazom. Sometimes it covers it, sometimes it goes through it. What does it mean? So the words are, when you look at the world, we look at the sun goes from the east and it sets it rises in the east, sets in the west. In the winter, the sun is on the southern side of the world because the sun is not a tanfas the whole time. It goes from the east, and it's on the south, going from the south side from east to west. When you have the summer, so it goes like a three quarters of a circle. At the middle of the middle of the summer, the sun starts from the northeast corner, goes throughout the east, throughout the south, throughout the west, and the sun sets in the northern western corner. It doesn't go in the northern side of the world. That's how it looks to our eyes when we are above the equator. In the winter, it goes only the south. In the spring and the fall, it starts somewhere in the middle of the east, goes some of the east, south, some of the west. That's the cycle of the sun. So what does it want about them? Where is the sun when you don't see it? And the Pashut Pshat the Gemara is, and the Machlekes, one sheet that says why you don't see it is because there's no sky there. The sun, so to speak, is traveling on the sky. I don't have a sky on the north. So it leaves the world. Right? It goes behind the world because it doesn't have where to hold on to. Another one says, no, it does have where to hold on to. There is a sky, but it goes behind it. Now, this is where many of the Apikarsim said, okay, see, Chazal did not know nature. They thought that the sun is being held by the sky, so that's why I'm asking where the north is. Says the Maharal, that's not true. Chazal knew very clearly the world is round. This is not talking about physically where the sun is. It's a conceptual idea. And the Maharal points out the idea, what does it mean? The world is not a complete world. The world was created with a chisarus. The human beings have to fill up the chisarus. So we're just talking about how do I define that chisar. But now that we're talking about the physical element of the sun. And we'll be married this more in the Shor Machshava and the Daf. But this is very important to know. We're not talking about the physical sun, we're talking about the conceptual idea of the sun. Says the Gemara, just to finish this idea, what goes according to Ablozer? It says the north is not there. From the womb comes a wind, a strong wind, that's the south. The north end is open. Lashon, as Rashi says, an open wind. So that's like Rablozer. It's different types of winds. So the more, but is that just showing from here that the north is open. So the more, what are you telling me? The south is a strong wind. It's a very nice wind that brings you the rain. It's more like Kasha. Depends how strong the rain comes. If the rain comes with no limitation, then it's a bad rain. If it brings nice, the right proper amount of rain, so then it grows the grass. What it means from the north, the gold will come. It makes the gold cheap. As we said before. That's what it means. That's what the northern wind does. We never really enjoy the southern wind. So it says that the south, he was going on the south, and it's going on the right, and it's roiv, meaning it's hunger, it doesn't exist. So you see from this pasuk that the south is referred to Yamin. They're telling me that on the south of the Yamin, it's hunger, there's no wind. So you see from here, there should be no wind. There, something explains, there's no real Torah. The Torah belongs to the south, as we'll see in a moment, and that Torah is missing. The time of Chubis of English, the Kshamim don't come from the good Oitzer. Open the Oitzer HaToiv. Not just so Simon Tzon Mokoim. We saw Shuim Alad Mosom. Now we saw doing or doing the Ratzon Hashem. And they're on their Adama, they're not in Golus. Kshamim Yerdim Oitzer HaToiv. The Kshamim come from the good Oitzer. And this, the Pashas Rochim explains, we learned in the Maseches Tainis, there's two types of rains. There's a rain that comes from Shamayim, that comes from spiritual HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So rain comes from the Oretz. It depends what level Am Yisrael are for the level of rain that comes. So rain says Shiyachkim Yadrim. Someone who wants to learn Torah knows about to Chacham should go to the south. Should daven towards the south. Once we become rich, should daven towards the north. The shulchan, who represents bread, represents parnasa, is in the north of Basra English, and the menorah represents the Torah is to the south. Says more, we always go to the south. As it gets smarter, you become chacham, you become rich. So the Torah includes everything. So more about Yeshiva, Levi, all my shchim b'mayim, but we learn Yeshiva Zamayim. So how do you mean you go to the north or to the south? It's more the mitzvah that it's doing. You tilt to the side. So here we're going to speak about the Shom Hashem and Adaf, but the idea is that the menorah represents Torah, the shulchan represents the yashirus, and therefore that's why the sides we're talking about. And the Maharsha points out, the Gemara said before, the Dorim brings the food. So really the idea is that the Dorim is the bread. So why that's Torah? Because bread is the minimal amount. That's all you need to learn Torah. The north is what brings the gold. That refers to the gold. Yeah, it makes the gold cheap. So, and that's why the north refers to the Yeshivas. But in the Beis Hamikdash, what do we have to the north? The bread. To tell you that you should do it, you want to have, even when you have Yeshivas, you shouldn't be stopping them with. You live in the north of Eretz Yisrael. You should face the south towards Eretz Yisrael. And we know the Bava that's I don't know the Bava is to the north. There's Yisrael Kaimo. I don't know the Bava that's there's Yisrael Kaimo. For the north, the row will open at Kol Yishvi Haaretz, meaning that it's going to be the row which means the Bavel is the Tzopay, because the pasuk says it. Part of the Briskirov, the scroll says always want to have a source from the Torah, even though it's that's what it is. Many old the Sefer Ein Yilyo says that the Bavel is not mamish to north, is northeast. So when you have pasuk tell me, then I treat it like north. Zog the Gemara. Machigim is a mishum in a herek. Tana beis yoimer mati bechardel. So we learned it earlier. You need to have away the bees from the mustard because the mustard ruins the bees. Or no, it's by the mustard you don't have to remove it. Why are you telling me to take away the mustard from the bees? Take away the bees from the mustard. They need my mustard. In other words, you're mazik me, I'm mazik you, so I'm not more responsible to move it. So the Mishnah. The tree has to be away from the bor 25 hours. And a carrot tree or sycamore tree, 50 hours. Doesn't matter if it's on the angle of the mountain, if it's up or down, we'll see in the Gemara. Doesn't matter if the tree is up and the bor is down, or vice versa. It's at the same level. If the bor comes first, you cut the tree and you pay for it. If the tree came first, you don't take down the tree. You're allowed to leave it there. I'm not sure what came first. Don't take down the tree. The Gemara said before, I don't know. You have to leave it. Even if the bor comes first, each one does it on his own property. I'm not responsible for the fact that my tree has roots going into your pit. Doesn't matter if on the angle of the mountain, what's above what. So understand, the roots are going and rooting the bor. And the bor if the bor is the top of the mountain, the ilum is the bottom. What's the problem? It makes the karko chaludo, which means rusty. In other words, it shakes the bottom, below the earth of the bor and makes the bor fall. So you can't have even the roots going beneath the bor. It's fine. Each one does it in his own place. The what? Basically, I'm not responsible for what's going on later with my actions. If it's Giri Day, then you're responsible. What's Giri Day? That's so clear over here. As someone mentioned me, and Efsham Machlokes Rashi tells us how to define it. Does it mean that it comes directly from a person's actions, or that it comes immediately? Could be Machlokes Rashi tells, because Rashi tells argue. What about all the Mishnahs till now? Does Rabbi agree or not? Rabbi argued in our Mishnah because it says not Giri Day. It says the tree when you plant it is not Giri Day. What about the other Mishnahs? So that Rashi tells argue. Rashi says Rabbi argues in all the Mishnahs. It's not Giri Day. Taisa says it is Giri Day. All the Mishnahs till now Rabbi agrees because it's Giri Day. Why is it Giri Day? Giri Day means it's the hours. It says the hours. It says Taisa brings an example from when you put a wall too close to the other wall, right? Why do you have to put it? Because you need to have room for people to walk. So Taisa the minute I put the wall there, people can't walk. So it's immediate. So you see, according to Taisa, the immediate makes it Giri Day. Maybe Rashi disagrees. Rashi says that's covering reactions. When you put a wall, not right away, you're doing something wrong. Probably you know only the Yeshiva. Probably you know it was poor, became rich. One not found they built a big house. How about there was these people that pressed sesame. They were in his neighborhood. When they pressed the sesame, his wall used to move. Also coming to Rashi, even if you hold like a basi, basically also when you do it, that it's your gear, it's your actions, it's immediate or because through your hands, he's anointed. The kamo, what's considered to be gear delay? So when the like the top of a barrel moves when they press, the wall moves so much that the top of the barrel is shaking as well. So you do that, it's called gear delay, they can't do it. Now the Rishonim point out why it says he was poor, became rich. Why is that important? So the different ways the Rishonim say it, but the idea is to say when they started pressing the sesame, he was poor. There was no building over there. Only later he built it. It's still also. And Ramban says it's like we said before. It's like having the Beis HaKisei, which is most. This bothers somebody. You can't tell me that I really agreed to it. So before it didn't have a house, it's fine. Once I build the house, you have to get out. You have to stop pressing the sesame over there. Similar to Beir Mario and Beri Deravin Kavun, not Tzikinto, when they would go and clean or press down their flax, have an answer of Kato Maskin, a piece of the flax used to go and hit people. Also, come in there, when they came for the Ravino. When they're basically when they say that, Rabbi agrees. How do you mean the Kaz of Mikoicha? It's only when it comes from your power. You're doing it. Here, the wind is doing it. You're not doing anything. On Shabbos, when I do Zoyre, when you put things in the air, and the air goes in the vines, the tfuel, it's also. Not the wind does it. You're right. That's Zoyre, the same thing. What the between that and a spark that comes out of the hammer and it's mazik? So there you want it to go. So that's considered to be your koyach. Here you don't want it to go. So Gemara is bringing out three definitions. When I have something going in the wind, it's not considered I'm doing it if I'm not interested in it. If I'm interested, so then it's considered to be yours. You're not interested, so you're not. And the Gemara brings the sheet that says it's like the thing in Shabbos. They're saying in Shabbos you can't do it, so also here you can't do it. So the Mechleik is the problem with that. Tais asks over here and many other Rishonim, what do you mean? Every time you have Eish, the Ruach takes the Eish, you're Chayav. So of course when the Ruach is doing your Chayav. Says Tais the Eish on its own is a mazik. Eish, wherever it is, it's burning. Now the Ruach takes it, so you're responsible. Here, the flax doesn't hurt on its own without the wind. So the wind is doing 100%. That's what there's a shita, that it is not considered to be usher, it's not considered to be girei delay. So we'll stop over here and continue from here in the next stuff.